detail. At least three entries disqualified and one dropped from the upcoming Gambia Senior National Journalism Awards 2020 out of the 33 finalists nominated. The award committee said in a press conference on Wednesday that their stories lack the required criteria. The Prominent Journalism Award, initiated in 2016, aims to honor and recognize hard-working journalists. More in this report. Demba Ali Jao, chairman of the award committee, told journalists that his committee will not reveal the names of those disqualified. However, Jao explains that some of them were disqualified because they submitted their entries in the wrong categories, amongst other disqualifications, as he explains.
We had a deadline for submission. Unfortunately, some of those entries didn't meet the deadline. They submitted beyond the deadline. Even though, the judges realized that late, but after they have done their shortlisting and other things, they realized that actually some of those stories were submitted beyond the deadline. So it would not be fair to the rest, definitely, to consider those ones. That is one of the criteria. Another thing was maybe some of them, we had categories. For example, if you report anything on COVID and maybe submit the story under sports, so that is definitely wrong categorization. That also could be a factor. I'm not sure whether it happened in this case, but it was definitely an important factor to disqualify a story because it went into the wrong category. Yeah, and then some of the stories we understand were undated. There was no date. So because we are dealing with a particular area from January 2019 to December 2019. So all these stories must be within that period. If they are outside that period, then definitely they are not qualified, no matter how good they are.
Chairman Jao said 203 stories were submitted for the competition by 41 journalists. Meanwhile, Sana Kamara, Communication and Branding Officer of the Awards Committee, said they decided to drop these journalists from the list of nominees when they conducted a thorough review of these stories.
We said 4 were disqualified. But of these 4, actually it was 3 that were disqualified. The 4th one was not disqualified, it was dropped. Why? Because after the initial assessment, somebody could have been unfairly nominated. After every assessment, you realize that this story doesn't deserve to be. It's not that he was disqualified, but there was another story that did better perform than the initial one. But that story in the initial assessment was left out.
Due to the coronavirus pandemic, this year's award will be held virtually at the Sir Dawda Kairaba International Conference Center on October 24, 2020. Broadcast medias were invited on a bid to broadcast the ceremony via online. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Mariama Cham. That was the upcoming GPU National Journalism Award to be held.